Is Caleb present?
Yes, I am present.
Wait, right. Yo, hey Caleb, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad at all. I'm looking for you. I think you might be on a. Can you just give me a wave, Caleb? Keep waving. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay, I see you. I see you. Fantastic. What's up?
Hi.
You may now ask your question, or a different question if you prefer.
All right. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And my question is, to put it simply, how do you balance intellect and emotion in your music?
Brilliant. That is a really good question, and a difficult question as well. It's one that I've thought a lot about. So yeah, the question is about being intellectual and being emotional as a musician. So first things first, both of these axes are very, very crucial, are very important. You can't really be a musician from just one of these positions, right? If you were just a musician who felt everything and didn't know anything, then it would be this constant stream of unstructured ideas, which can be a really useful technique for composing and improvising. But it'll be difficult to figure out what to do with all this stuff, right? And then if you're a musician who has never played an instrument before and never smelt an instrument before or whatever, and you just knew about music, but you'd never made a sound, then that is a very weird, strange scenario for making music, because it's almost like it's like someone who studied how to speak a foreign language but doesn't know how to speak it, right? So you have to know how to balance these two things. For me, I have these two different brains, I guess. Well, I have one brain, that's true, but I think both sides of the brain for everybody have different sort of levels of importance. For me, I'm the kind of musician who, if I'm not feeling something about it, then I can't do it at all. So I've always been guided by the heart, guided by how I'm feeling about something. If it feels right, if it feels exciting, if it gives me goosebumps, like these are the things that help me make my big decisions creatively. In terms of the smaller decisions creatively, like if I'm playing a cadence from into C major, right? And I'm doing G7 to C, right? Then my intellectual brain knows that there are a few different options here, I could do this chord here rather than this chord here, which is like a G7-13 chord with an E on the top. That's a valuable option I have. I could do this chord, right? Which is like with a C sharp in it, G7 with a C sharp in it. It's called a sharp 11. If you want to give it a name, you don't have to give it a name, right? I could add an A into this chord, which is like a ninth. I could do that, or I could do A flat. Super nice if it leans against the C sharp, especially, or D flat. That's nice. I could do, let me see, E flat. It's much more of like a kind of feeling, It's a nice one. And I could add any note I want to. I could do anything. I could do all of these notes. Well, I wanted to. And it all resolves. All notes work with every chord. It's just a spoiler about music. You can do whatever the hell you want all the time with harmony. It doesn't matter. All notes go with every chord goes with every bass note. You can make everything make sense. It's all possible, and I really love this. So my left brain knows these different possibilities, and so the job of the left brain is to be involved in the process of thinking before you play, right? So I might sit at the piano as I did as a teenager. I think, okay, interesting. So I've got a dominant chord going to a chord. So I remember making a list of every single triad, by which I mean just like a 3-note chord. These are triads, right? I made a list of all the major and minor triads that worked over G7. And I still have the piece of paper somewhere. I did it next to a river, next to like a pond when I was about 18 years old. And so G works, right? F works, right? And then E works. That's a really lovely shiny one. It's nice. A flat minor, it's gorgeous. Really incandescent.
Oh my God.
That's really nice. And then C sharp minor. Oh, that one's super colourful, right? And I can obviously improvise using these triads as well. It's gorgeous. And then it resolves, and A major works. Whoa, that was fun. It's really kind of like brash and open and shameless, right? And then what have I missed out? B, or how about B major? B major is really like it's like not in the textbook because it has an F sharp here, and F sharp doesn't really go with this note, because you've got B major, then you've got G and F sharp and F all in the chord at the same time. That is very problematic, but that's gorgeous. It's so nice. That's so lovely. And obviously you can make combinations of these. You can say I can have a B major with a ninth. Right? So these aren't necessarily emotional. I'm not like doing this in the dark. I'm thinking actively about this. I'm thinking, okay, if I want to be a really good harmonist or a really good pianist, an arranger, or a thinker, a singer, I want to be aware of harmony. I want to be as aware of harmony as possible. And so if you're interested in this stuff, do it. Like, make your own list of triads. What I personally found is that, yeah, every single one works. But some have different feelings from others. If I play a B flat minor triad, it's a really kind of like, it has quite a sort of transparency, like an aching transparency to it. Whereas something like A major really doesn't have. A major is much more kind of like sardonic, you know? And so when I make that choice, if I'm playing, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right? Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a G7. That's an interesting choice. Or it's much gentler because it has home here. Home is already in the chord. C major is home. We're already in C major. I'm just wrapping it around the G7. It's rubbing. Right? That's a choice. If I go, right, that's so different because there's more tension. It feels more like alien, more like B major or E major, these faraway places, which is different from C, having the notes of C major in the G7 chord. Because you can play G and C at the same time, or G7 and C at the same time. It's clustery chords. So wonderful, wonderful things to explore. So my left brain does these exercises, right? You think, okay, so now I know what triads work. So now I'm going to go and make a bunch of music and just see what happens, right? And then you sit and you play, and you don't think about it at all. You don't think, I don't get to G7 at this point in my life and think, oh no, what triad am I going to play? Because in the same way that with English, when I'm talking English right now, I don't have to think about, oh, should I put a comma, or should I pause a little bit, or I don't have to think about spelling, or I don't have to think about where do I put the verb in the sentence? Does the verb go at the end, because I've internalized the rules. I've internalized the options, and so I know that if I go yes, that's very different from going yes, because I know I've tried it. I've experimented with dynamics. It's different. It changes the way that you speak. Completely different. And so when you're playing, it's the same stuff. You have to know what's possible with the notes in your chords. And how do you know that? Well, you have to know it by going and trying it. You have to go and taste it. And so, after I'd done this, I transposed that to all keys. So when I was in C sharp major and I was playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard once in a lullaby. D major, oh, that's colourful. You know what I mean? And then when you turn that tap on, options come out of your brain. It's such a lovely feeling because you realise that this sound is an option, or this sound is an option, or this sound is an option, or that sound is an option. They all have different flavours. And so the more you can sit and just kind of explore those things, the more options you'll have at the end of the day. And it takes both your left brain and your right brain. And for me, the way that I internalize these sounds is not by what they're called, it's by how they feel. So I know that if I've got an F minor chord, right? If I'm playing an F minor chord like this, or say I'm playing an F minor 7 chord like this. Yeah. Right, so basically A flat major over F like that. I know that if I add a B flat into this chord, I know how that feels. It feels gorgeous. It's like it warms it up. Or I know if I add a G to this chord, I know what that does. I know what it feels like. Right? And I know that if I put this G down here next to A flat, then they'll rub together. There's a tension. And that's nice. And what if I put the B flat at the top now? Oh, that's nice. Right? Or if I put the G up here but the B flat down here, that's gorgeous. And what if I put the A flat at the bottom of the chord? That's interesting. Because it would become an A flat major chord, right? So you can move the notes around, but I know what each note feels like. So I know that when I do a B flat and F minor chord, that feels a certain way. And if I'm making an arrangement of a song, like say Somewhere Over the Rainbow, that I was just working with, well, what key haven't we played in? We haven't played in D yet. So let's play in D. So, where over the rainbow, way up high. B minor chord, but I've got an E in it. It's the same thing as this. Same note. It's the 11th. Now, I know that feeling. And it's different if I just go, high. Yeah? It's fine. But if I go, and it's centralized. It centralizes the chord. You know, it has a feeling. I know I have a different feeling for me than it has for you, and that's brilliant. But then I think, okay, I want to know this note fully. This 11th. It's the 4th note up from the root. Let's try it in every single key, and let's just see if I can familiarize myself with that sound in all these different keys, so that whenever I land in that key, if I'm playing a song, it's always available to me. In the same way that I did this with all sorts of chords. I would take like a 9th chord, like this chord. I love this chord. So it's F sharp minor, right? It's got an 11th and a 9th, and I went like this for years and years, just thinking like, but I want to know this chord in all the keys, and it's not that hard. You just have to do it. You just have to sit and do it. And after a while, you get to know how they feel, and how they look as well on the keys or on the guitar or even in the voice. You know, you get to know where they sit in your language, and sometimes that does take some left brain guidance. You know, because the left brain is what categorizes things and puts things in strategies and frameworks and all that stuff. But the right brain is the storyteller. And so you have to leave room for both, you know? Does that answer your question?
Yes, that was more than adequate. Thank you so much.
Cool, thank you. Brilliant. Very cool.